Hello. Are we all here yet? Show me a sign. Any sign. Sorry about the buzzing noise in the background. You might have to cope with that. Hello. Anyone there? I can do this as a pre-recording if you prefer. Type me a sign. Hello, Matt. I was expecting a few of the girls to drop by. They might be just putting the kettle on. Have you looked at that Twitter account yet, Matt? Hello, Honest Rage. Yeah, where am I? I'm trying to get some stuff on my screen, sorry. Yeah, I had a look through it too. I'm going to show you all the different way to look at a Twitter account. It'd be good if we could do this with Instagram accounts, because I would really like to compare what we've got with the Instagram account, because I think it will actually show us a little bit more detail. And it's a pity he doesn't have a Twitter account. You checked it out real well, Cassie. Well, I checked it out real well too, and it doesn't actually, the statistics on that account don't actually reflect what the donut is saying. I don't want to say any names about channels. You all know who the donut is, but I'm not here to diss another channel. I'm actually here to do some tricks. So just some little OSINT tricks so that you can check these things out yourself and work out well, that's a good point. On a stage, he's not actually following or liking anything. He mentions a few people, but I'm going to show you a really easy, simple way to check it out when we're all organized. So I don't know what happened to the other girls. They were heading over here. Maybe they're still putting their kettles on. What were some points I wanted to make? All right, so in the previous video, I was talking about some weird things about his disappearance, right? Against technology. You have that feeling that, from his Instagram account, Honest Raid, or from Nomadic Trek's page. So yeah, I found it very odd that he got home on September the 1st, and then on September the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, the parents went camping, took him camping. So I found some interesting sort of snippets in between them, because the parents said he went missing on Tuesday. So let me just check the calendar, what the Tuesday was. For here, it's all right. So you're a day behind us. So that was the 13th of September. He apparently went missing, right? Parents said we haven't seen him since Tuesday. That's the 13th of September, right? However, on the 14th of September, he apparently lawyered up. So how did he lawyer up while he was missing? So I found that those 2 dates a little bit interesting. Hey G-Dog, hey Chaos. So yeah, that is a little bit on the odd side, don't you think? So went missing on the 13th and lawyered up on the 14th. I think those are the right dates. Just feel free to correct me, because from the Instagram post, Honest Rage. Okay. Yeah. I got the impression from his Insta post that he is actually a burner. That's what they call people who go to Burning Man. Yes, Mummy and Daddy. I wonder what's going on there, because Mummy and Daddy said he was missing on Tuesday, yet the next day they've lawyered up, or he's lawyered up. So he's obviously, made a phone call to the lawyer or something. Do you think? I don't know. Yes, it's early in America, isn't it, Honest Rage? Sorry. I did pick an early morning, but this was sort of a late evening, or sort of a mid to late evening in Australia, early morning in America. So I thought I'd get actually a few of yous while you're cracking, or just like having your first coffee. So yes, Mummy and Daddy are up to weird shit. So that's the first time I've actually suspected they might be up to weird shit. Like, I mean, obviously not wanting to incriminate their own son, I get that. I'm pretty much like that as a mum too, but I certainly would be encouraging my son to be honest and forthright with the police. Like, I would absolutely back him. Well, the lawyer spoke up, Chaos, on the lawyer spoke up for the first time on the 14th, okay? So that's the info that I got from all the news snippets. When they all went, air quotes, camping. I don't know, Honest Rage, because it was a long weekend, right? So the Saturday and the Sunday, the lawyers wouldn't have been open, but then the Monday was a public holiday. So, unless they have, like, a close relationship, I guess, or something. So that could be the case. I'm missing some of the chat here. Did I miss? I missed. Hang on. Disable that. Hello, Sue. So yeah, I just found that to be like a little weird. There's some he only got home on September the 1st, right? Which in America was a Friday. So the Saturday was the 2nd, and he's gone again. So when did he get time to see a lawyer? And why did he go see a lawyer like overnight? That's nuts, right? Sorry, on the 2nd they went camping, not lawyered up. On the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th they went camping. So, but yeah, he's been their family lawyer a while. Yeah, well, even if it's a family lawyer, even if it's your parents' lawyer, they still have to speak to you personally. So they can't override you and do what the parents want. If you're an adult, you speak to the lawyer yourself and you tell them what you want. No worries, Brandy. You wanted to hit me up with something, Brandy. So when you're done with the suds, let us know. The animal in the reserve. What are we talking about? G-Dog? not sure. I felt like I must have missed some news. Like, bear in mind, like, I slept all day because I've been up all night trying to yak with American people and get some stuff organised to make our live streams a little bit more engaging and entertaining, which we'll get to eventually. But lawyer for the family business, yeah. John Walsh has bad to say about that lawyer. Yeah, I imagine he does. Yeah, I'm just trying to sort of narrow down the days that that we had for the whole seeing a lawyer and instructing the lawyer not anything or whatever, to issue a comment on his behalf or whatever it was that was done, because I just don't know how he got. I guess he had 9 days in between, the camping trip, getting home on the 4th, which was, the Monday, and then the following day, the Tuesday, through to the following Tuesday. He had that time, I guess, to see the lawyer. So, hello, Kathy. Thank you for joining us. So, yes. All right. So, I'm going to show you guys a little trickery. You had me scared with the video you put out yesterday. I thought you was leaving us again. Which video did I put out yesterday? Oh, my offline. Yeah, sorry. I'm actually doing a little bit of I'm rigging up some stuff so that we can do some more engaging sort of stuff on our live streams, and we can do some games and all sorts of stuff, some polls and games and spin the wheel. I wanted to show you spin the wheel because I think that's pretty much how those spirit apps work on your phone. So I thought, I'm actually designing a spin the wheel sort of thing at the moment for our live chat, so I can show you on the screen. We can spin the wheel and see what the wheel says we have to do next. So G-Dog, I have not heard about Luca, so I haven't been following any channels. Like, I only just, like I said, woke up and watched Chris M's video and went on a mission because it's too easily debunked. Right, it's just like the Magic 8 Ball, and I can do Magic 8 Ball as well. Like, I can set that up as well just to show you that, unless the spirits can get inside of your phone and actually figure around with the programming code, like physically the code that says pick a random reply or a random number or a random whatever, because that's how the spirit app works. I just remember living with an entitled rich boy in Philly who's I think so too, Honest Rage. Oh, that's terrible news, G-Dog. I'll catch up on that news and send them my best wishes. I didn't know that. And yes, I agree, Honest Rage, they are protecting him. I didn't actually get that feeling straight up. I just thought, like they were just letting him own bus and not wanting to incriminate him. But I'm starting to get that impression now that they are covering for him. So there's a few scenarios that I've been thinking, just what if scenarios. And I think they're relevant because we don't actually have any evidence that says much else. So what we do have evidence of is that they had a tumultuous relationship, and he seems like, at least from what we can tell, an emotional abuser. But I think from the 911 call, we can call that evidence that he was also a physical abuser. So let's put that aside for 1 second. We also have, Gabby's body has turned up. So, and we know that that's been classified as death by another. So let's put those two things aside for a second, because that's all we got evidence of. We don't have any evidence of anything else. And so I've just been running through thinking of different scenarios where, he might be innocent, he might be guilty. So in the guilty side, I'm sure there's no scenario that I can think of that other people haven't already turned up. So, that he killed her is the obvious one. I heard another one on this channel that was, what was it? That he killed the other girls from Moab and told Abby, and then told Gabby, and because he told Gabby, here's so many people say Abby, it's gotten me into the habit. He told Gabby, and so he had to do her in. So there's all of scenarios, but there's also the what if the person who actually did kill those Moab girls followed Gabby and Brian, and then Brian racked off and left Gabby there on her own, and then this dude found Gabby, and then Brian comes back and Gabby's already dead. What about that scenario? There's really no information. There's no evidence whatsoever to say that he did kill her, but there's no evidence to say that someone else did kill her. But it's just as likely a scenario whilst there's no evidence. So, I know we all need a bad guy to go after. Maybe he's not a bad guy. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he did, G-Dog. I don't think they were in the area. Like, you're talking about, he just stormed off in a rampage and found two girls and shot them. I see nothing in his background that says anything like that. So, well, Cassie, we don't even know if there was any shooting, right? Everyone's even assuming that. So, I was listening to Gonzo's video yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And he said, look, they were just markers. They didn't know if those markers were of anything in particular. So everyone's just assuming they were bullet markers, but we don't know that. So that's just, again, speculation. Right, Honest Rage. See, there's that also. There is a military man missing in Yellowstone Parks. Yes. So anyway, just the fact that they were both in Moab around the same time, I don't think is a connection at all. And there is nothing else that indicates there is a connection. Certainly police aren't making it a connection. And think about it this way, with the manhunt that they got going on right now, if there was any connection between him and them girls, don't you think they'd be talking about it, like making it exactly like how important it is to catch the guy? Of course they'd be talking about it. There are a lot of scenarios. So assuming that he's guilty, hello butterflies. Sorry, Cassie, if I didn't say hello to you already. yeah, there's a lot of stuff being said, but there's nothing really there to there's nothing really there to substantiate anything that people are saying. Really, there's not even really anything to substantiate that Brian has done anything more than use Gabby's card, bank card. So because that's all the warrant for the arrest is about. Right, Cassie, and a couple of other people have said that to me as well about the hate. So, G-Dog, we don't know that for certain. That's in speculation. Right, Cassie, I don't know if he's a liberal. If he hates Trump, he probably is. So, hello, Bumblebee. It's all right. It was a very last minute, Bumblebee, so it's all good. Anyway, so what I wanted to do was just have a look at whether or not this person that Chris McDonough just did a video on is the bad guy that he's making him out to be. So the guy claims that, I'm going to show you his Twitter account. Just give me one sec to turn him up. But the guy's claiming like that he is he's not who Chris M thinks he is. So, and if you don't have a Twitter account, you probably can't see this, so I'm going to put it on the screen for you so you can see it. Oh, come on. Being silly. Okay. Sorry if I'm breaking up a bit, but yeah, I got some problems. I got problems at this end. All right, let's have his account first of all. So I'll knock you guys off the screen. Right, Cassie, he did. I'm going to knock us off the screen so that we can get this up on the screen bigger. Bigger. There you go. You can all see it. So, yeah. So here's his comment to Chris McDonough and Greg Cooper in the interview room. Hate to disappoint, but Chris McDonough, Greg Cooper, the interview room are whacked. Tune out these goofballs. I'm just a traveller and retired LE law enforcement officer with a daughter near Gabby Petito's age. Like many, this case has touched me just as Gabby. So there you go. And he has posted since then, I guess. Half-pound RPB cups. What are those? I can't actually tell what that is. You guys will have to tell me what those are. Obviously, that's something American, some sort of American food. Half-pound. Is it chocolate cake? What is it? Oops. Sorry about the bot. Who wrote that? Please turn off cats. Yeah. The bot's only doing what I've told it to do, so sorry about that. I'm still getting it. I didn't actually think the bot was actually present for this. Because I'm not using Streamlabs to do this. So sorry. Yes, Matt, the error is me. It's me. Reese's peanut butter cups. Okay. Sound delicious. Peanut butter inside chocolate. on the outside. Yum. I don't use caps to shout. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize the bot was in here, and because I'm not using Streamlabs yet. But there you go. Hello to sorry, the bot is doing what I told it to do. I'm still in the middle of telling it like how to do what I want it to do. So yeah, I kind of like put that aside for 1 second so that I could actually do this little trek through this account. Anyway, so we can go through, all his posts and basically find that, he's turned a lot of them to private. I think he's turned some private since I last looked at it. But 5 minutes ago, everything posted on the case was from social media or news following this case from the start, trying to assist in first finding Gabby, then helping get out info to create the timeline and help law enforcement find Brian. No intent to offend or mislead anyone. It's not that complicated. So obviously he's getting attacked. But yeah, you can go through all of his posts, right through to the day she went missing, and you really find not a whole lot of correlation. A whole lot of correlation between what Chris M is saying. Like, this guy obviously has suffered from depression. He likes to quote people: simplicity, clarity, singleness. These are the attributes that give our lives power and vividness and joy. So, he doesn't want to be a bald man in the USA, Canada, or Mexico right now. So he's obviously been hassled about this for quite a bit, because he's got a similar handle with the Nomadic being in it, but well, CM going after Brian's not a bad thing if CM actually got Brian, but he actually didn't get Brian. And I'm going to just show you, a few more reasons why that's the case. But so I find this guy, like, he thinks very, very deeply, and I think maybe has suffered from depression. He's obviously single and not sure he really wants to get into a relationship with someone. And I can completely relate to that because I've been there before. When you trust people more than they deserve, they will hurt you deserve. So yeah, and so there is some cryptic posts here, and people posting cryptically on their accounts is not really an unusual thing. September 14th. 13th, the moment you realise you forgot the can opener. I don't know that's him. Shared posts from somebody else. Yeah, this is interesting. He who can blend into any scene or situation without standing out, hiding his skills, qualities, and to be left alone. We need to learn how to blend into the environment, look like everyone else, become average looking, still while being alert and vigilant and perceptive. So, I don't disagree with that. Rules of happiness. This is the 13th. So this is the day that he supposedly saw his lawyer, right? Rules of happiness. Don't worry, don't hate, give more, expect less, live simply. Can't say I disagree with that either. Conformity. Oh my God, I hate conformity too. Being quiet is not a September the 11th was a day. The day the family reported Gabby missing was September the 11th. You know what you got to remember? Twitter is converting these dates to Australian, so that is actually September the 10th. After he went missing, I don't think he would be posting on Twitter on the run. That's exactly right, Kathy, and I'm going to show you some information about that in a second. It's just idiocy to just choose a random person that seems sus. Well, it is very random, but you can see why people picked him, because he's got the word nomadic in his handle, okay? But like he's just on that topic. Let's do a search on nomadic. Just nomadic alone for Twitter. People names nomadic in them. Well, there's a lot of travel blogs. Nomadic Samuel, Nomadic Texan, the Nomadic Gentleman, Nomadic Monk, Global Nomadic, Nomadic Display, Nomadic Labs, which is actually a blockchain company, Nomadic Division, which is the land organization, Nomadic Matt. Do you see what the point is here? There's thousands of them. So why people pick that one, I have no idea. They could have picked any one of these and gone, yep, that's the one. Let's call him Brian. And that's right. Nomadic Static was Gabby's name, but nomadic is very, very popular in the van life community, and even van life. Van life is very popular here in Australia as well. We have the grey nomads in Australia, and the grey nomads are like retired couples who buy a caravan or a van, deck it out, and off they go traveling the country. So even if you look up van life, you get thousands of responses. This is not a small community. This is a freaking huge, large community. Wahaha, I didn't swear. So just looking through, van life tribe, man, wife, van life diaries, van life adventure. So this is a really big community that they're trying to target and pick Brian out of the crowd. But there's a whole bunch of reasons why it's not Brian, and IP address is probably the first thing. I'm not going to show you the IP address of the person that they have picked or how to find that information. I don't want to have even more people running around doing silly shit. I only show you the tools that I think you can't really hurt others with. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to show you a tool. I've run out of coffee, so give me 1 sec. So I am going to arc up the kettle and coffee material. Oh no, my water jug's empty. Okay. So the buzzing from the heater. We're down to 10 degrees again here tonight. So anyway, everyone's going to go after, anyone with van life, anyone with nomadic, anyone with what's his Instagram handle again? I forget now. The Instagram handle is something design. What was it? Bizarre Design. So let's have a look at that one. So bizarre. Is it two Z's? Bizarre Design. Like, even if you look at it as not his handle, because like he does have a hand of that as his handle, but he does not appear to be on Twitter at all under that handle. I actually thought we were going to get thousands of results for that. But there you go, we don't. Anyway, so I'm going to stop sharing this screen. And I'm going to take you to an OSINT tool so you can have a look how that works. I think Linda's reaching as well, G-Dog. I mean, it's okay if you like her. I'm not going to diss Linda. She's very good with like putting patterns together, but I absolutely do not think that any of this was as planned out as she thinks it is. I think the guy lost his head after either killing Gabby or finding her dead himself. The guy lost his head, and I don't think we can expect anything planned, premeditated, organized. We can expect none of that from this dude. We need to expect absolute fucking chaos. Oh, I said the F word. Swear jar. So now I'm going to share this screen with you. Just give it a second to load. This is a pretty cool tool that's used by a lot of OSINT people. There's nothing planned. The guy's lost his head. If he was mentioning big tech and Twitter and stuff like that, he might be a bloody right winger and not a lefty. All right, so now I'm going to show you this tool. Let's go to big screen. Okay, this tool's very interesting. It's called social sharing, and you can just chuck in a Twitter handle and it'll give you statistics on the actual person. No, I don't think he's been thinking about killing G-Dog at all. If he was thinking about it, you would have, some signs there. But there are no signs. There's just some domestic issues. So that's all we've got evidence of at this point. And he reads spooky stories. So, and incidentally, I thoroughly enjoyed Fight Club, and I actually quite Fight Club quite a lot. I thoroughly enjoy it. I'm not a fighty kind of person. I don't like violence and crap. But I really enjoyed the Tyler Durden character and the things that he said. And you are not your car keys. You are not your grande latte. You are not your. I thoroughly enjoyed some of the stuff that it said because I'm not a very material person either. So So let me just go back a bit. What I wondered whether they tried mushrooms and he wigged out. Well, I don't know. I wonder if they wigged out a fair bit, to be honest. I know a few people who wig out on the old mushies and cactus juice and all sorts of stuff. So doesn't mean that they actually, the people I know are going to go kill anyone. His art is definitely dark, but that doesn't mean a lot either, G-Dog, like my son's in the tattoo industry and all tattoo art is pretty dark. So, there's, I would say like 80% of tattoo art is dark as well. But if you're suffering from depression or anxiety, I think you probably, as an artist, you probably express that in your art. Um, I know a lot of artists around this area where I live. They all do different types of art, music and visual and all sorts of art, and they can go to some dark places, but that doesn't really make, a murderer. So, well, Kathy, the mental issues with Gabby was debunked by her stepfather. He said that she wasn't suffering from mental issues that they knew of, and that she hadn't seen any doctors about any mental issues. So neither of them were on meds, so that's not true either. Right. If there is underlying violence issues, it could make you snap, and that is the only sort of supposition, honest rage, that has any weight on Gabby being found dead at all. Okay, all the rest is just speculation. It's okay to speculate. I'm not putting anyone down for speculating. I'm just saying that this it is speculating, and there's no evidence behind it. So, mushrooms, bumblebee, da. Well, he doesn't do it for a reason, G Dog. He's always been an artist before he got a job as a tattooist. He has always been an artist, and he's always had dark art. Like, even when he was like 12 years old at school, he used to draw like little animations by flipping the corner of the pages in his exercise books, and all his little animations were dark. They were like little stick figure skateboarders, but they would be doing things like trying to grind a rail and falling off and banging their head, and then he'd get the red pen out there, like we've already had one case in America that was um, an innocence project case where just because his art was all dark, he got convicted on that. So, it's a good learning lesson to go look into that case. As soon as I remember which case it is, you guys know what I'm like with names. It'll come to me in a minute, but that case is an innocence project case. Young boy, 14, 12, no, 13 or 14. He actually got locked away and convicted of murder. And it wasn't him. He was finally found to be innocent, but it was because of his dark artwork that he was convicted, and that's the only reason. Oh, well, I don't I don't know. Don't know that it's always the truth, Kathy. Sometimes I speculate myself, but I like to think that I come up with more logical sort of speculations than, just reaching out into the never. Are you speaking from experience, Sue Ellen? I don't know. I haven't actually tried mushrooms, so I have been like back when my kids were little. I had this like girl that would come and babysit my kids. She was a teenager, and one of her friends, he got on. I think it was mushies, or it might have been acid, and thought that he could fly. Like, he tried to jump off the roof or something of their house. Yeah, some anime can be subliminally dark. That's right, honest rage. I'm sorry about the bot. Whoops. Just see if I could. Maybe see if I could block the bot. I probably can't because it's a it's a moderator. All right. Sorry about the bot. Just ignore the bot for now, okay? Yeah, take a chill pill, bloody cloud bot. Yeah, so I forget the name of the case still, but anyway, let's look at this page because this page is very interesting. So, does this Nomadic Trek guy have a lot of dark posts where he's talking about bad or terrible things? Well, we see the chart on the left here, tweets by sentiment. So he has 46% neutral, where he's not really expressing a sentiment. He has 20% good sentiments and 16% great sentiments. He has a very low, very, very low terrible sentiments and very, very, very low bad sentiments. So I'm going to scroll down and show you what are good and bad sentiments as well, because some of those don't even really count because they're in the same sentence as some good words. So like being used to contrast and stuff like that. So I'll scroll down to that in a second. So that's what we can see just by looking at the statistics on the last 200 tweets. Now, if we load more tweets, we'll see what happens with our pie chart if we load. That's only the last 200 tweets. So let's load however many more. So his bad and terrible dropped. Well, actually, his bad and terrible was 18% before, so and then now it's still 18%. So there you go. But the rest is, good, neutral, mostly neutral. So there you go. That's 400 tweets. So now I'm going to show you down this side. So he does a lot of plain tweets. He does very few replies. He mentions a few people. We'll look at whether he mentions Gabby at all in a second. He shares a lot of pictures, more pictures than videos, less links than pictures and videos. And there's the number of sentiments rather than percentage if you wanted to see what the numbers were. So he speaks mostly English, but he has other languages that appear on his social media profile, and I can already tell you why that is. It's because the van life and the nomadic existence is all across the world, and he follows a lot of people so that do that sort of stuff. He's the only one that contributes to his page, to his Twitter account. So he's mostly hashtagging photography and art. So we'll have a look at his art to see if it's anything like Brian's art. So there's all these hashtags. We can actually see those in a second in a bit of his top mentions. Certainly Gabby's not one of them. So this is a very good website that just sort of gives you a little bit sort of easier way to view, summing up things, how when you're actually looking at the actual Twitter feed, it's hard. You're making your own decision as you're looking at each post, whereas this is it in numbers. So thanks for coming by, G-Dog, and I hope you come back. So yeah, let's have a look at some more in the charts. So here we go. Tweets by source. So he does 50% of his tweets by the Twitter web app through a web page, and he does 26% of his tweets through TweetDeck, and he does 25% through his iPhone. So you can absolutely track through those three mediums. You can absolutely track his IP address. So you think the feds are not onto this? They'd had this guy already in their clutches and know exactly where he is. I can show you by geolocation on the IP address, but I don't want to dox the guy because it's not him. If I thought it was Brian, I might go and show you the geolocation, but it's not him, so I'm not going to dox the guy. Okay, so here's his tweets over time, and this is very interesting because we look through, the July to September period, and his tweets have gone up, not down. So, we know the guy's dropped off the planet and trying not to be found, but yet the tweets have gone up. His daily tweets have gone up to, have gone from, 5 a day up to 20 a day. So the words he says the most are, he's been talking about Chris McDonough and Greg Cooper a bit. He talks about Burning Man a lot, National Geographic because he's into photography, and artwork, I guess, which I think is his photography more than it is actual artwork. The words he uses the most: nature, people, need, get, more, only, don't, being, time, love. So, okay, and this is where we see the posts. So, if you look down here in the post, see the colors. See how it's green and red. So, back up here to this here, that shows you what's marking as green, orange, red, and blue, basically. So, was this a bad post? Everything posted on the case was from social media or news following this case. This is the post I just read 31 minutes ago. So it's not a bad post. But it's got 1, 2, 3 words tagged as good and 2 words tagged as bad. So it is mostly a good post. So let's look for other bad words in his posts. Chris had to really dig deep to find bad words. Here's his post to Chris McDonough. Sorry, not BL, hate to disappoint. Not a bad post. Again, it's not threatening or, violent or sad or, any of those things that you might expect. It's funny, actually. So not really a bad post. So, the 6% bad post is actually dwindling now because of the way this is picking up, bad words. In fact, a lot of his stuff has very little in the way of bad. Do you know that if is the middle of the word? That was a quote. So, a quote from Apocalypse Now. So counted as bad words, really, is it? The root cause of pain and suffering lies in your own ignorant, short-sighted, overstimulated, and undisciplined state of mind. I think you could say that seems bad. I don't know. We'll put that in the, maybe good, maybe bad. But I understand where he's coming from because over here to the right, we see he quotes a Buddha quote. Your ego does more damage and closes you off to the possibilities. Suspend the ego and there is no telling how far you can go. And that is a very, very, very true and positive quote, even though it's got more bad words in it than good words. So I think those two quotes are very much related. Best quote perspective. We are short-lived bony meat suits who created social constructs like credit scores so we can worry about something other than the fact that we're hurting through the uncaring void of space on a rock orbiting around a giant flaming ball. Again, that's a quote, so not necessarily bad. It's a funny quote. I'm sure it's from The Simpsons. So, yeah, as you can see, there doesn't seem to be, a lot of really bad shit on his Facebook, and how the people over on Chris's channel, drew all this really bad negative stuff from this guy's quotes is it's a bit weird. But anyway, let's go back to when Gabby went missing. How many days ago did Gabby go missing, guys? She was reported missing on the 11th, right? So how many days are we on now? 7, 14, 15, 17 days-ish. 20. So it's around the 20-day mark, right? So we're looking around the 20-day mark here. Talking about the drought, not really a bad word. It's a thing. Being quiet is not a bad thing. That's not a bad tweet. Forgiveness is not useful. Nobody is in a position to enable or deny my healing. Whether or not we have a relationship today is not about forgiveness. So, I guess that's a tweet that you could probably focus on, I guess. But I don't see it as a bad tweet. If someone's saying they forgive him or they don't forgive him, he's actually right. It's not whether someone is forgiving you or not. It's whether you forgive yourself when you're doing, things, I guess. Or forgiveness starts with yourself is probably a way to say that. But anyway. So it said in there, done that. He's been to the Great Sand Dunes in Colorado. I can't say that word in Maui, Hawaii. The Great Smoky Mountains, North Carolina, Olympic, Washington. But I will return. And other places he has been. Obviously he's doing the sites, which, most van lifers would be doing the sites, right? That's right, Sue. That can happen sometimes. So, people really had to dig through his posts to find, the negative stuff. But now we get to the Burning Man, and that was all during this period. And I just want to show you the Burning Man stuff. It was cancelled, but there's a couple of things. My mind's racing now. There's a couple of things about the Burning Man stuff. Burning Man actually was cancelled, but I'll just share that screen with you because they actually did a virtual burn. It's cancelled because of COVID. So let me share that screen. So it's probably indefinite cancelled because of COVID. It'll come back eventually, I guess. So 1 year, it will come back. But you have a look here. So one of the questions was asking, why is it cancelled because of COVID? When will it return? Well, when we get the thumbs up from the COVID. But down here, is there going to be a virtual Burning Man here, see? And oops, I screwed that up. Come back to it. Where did it go? There it is. We're so happy you asked. Virtual Burning Man will be bringing the global community together for 2 entire weeks, 21st of August to the 5th of September. 6 radically inclusive experiences are inviting you now to contribute your burner magic. So I just wanted to show you that. And then what it was basically submitting your Burning Man photos, like from previous years, on the player. That's what they call, the art, where all the art gets shown, basically, on the player. So this is where you could actually submit your virtual Burning Man stuff for the player, for the virtual player. Whether you could do 3D, 2D video or photos or images or whatever you liked, and that became part of the virtual Burning Man. So in essence, there was a Burning Man this year. It just wasn't out on the player in Nevada where it usually is. So I just wanted to show you that, because that explains why I've worked out the guy's name, Steve. But that explains to us why Nomadic Trek was posting all this stuff about Burning Man during those dates, because there literally was a Burning Man, and he's obviously a burner. And I even find that interesting that he's a burner, because a burner is what they call people who go to Burning Man and partake of the Burning Man experience, because he's ex-law enforcement. And so far as I knew, like, law enforcement, I didn't think law enforcement were like pro this whole Burning Man thing. I thought they were trying to shut it down. So that could be just my perception, because I live in Australia and they've shut anything like this down. Like any gathering more than 12 people, not allowed to do it in Australia. If you gather with more than 12 people, the police will come and confiscate your stereo. They'll shut you down. And if you don't shut it down, they will cite you. I can't even remember what the fines are called now. And if it's in your paddock, like if it's out in the bush or in your own, on your own property out in the outdoors, they will fine you for destroying the environment, like all these environmental things. And if you've got any structures like they do at Burning Man, they will also fine you for not having a DA approval for development application through your local council. And so there's been a few fines for these sort of events here in Australia that haven't gone through proper DA approval and all the proper council approvals and all the rah-rah that goes with it. And they have been fined, like, in the vicinity of $100,000 and more. So some people have lost their homes and their properties because they couldn't pay for their legal fees to fight this in court. So, but anyway, just thought I'd tell you that. I don't know if the police in America are against these sort of gatherings, but in Australia they absolutely are against them. So I just thought I would throw that in there. So if he is ex law enforcement and he's going to Burning Man, I just find that incredibly I find it a good thing, right? Whether you like Burning Man or not, it shows he's not a conformity type person. He even says that himself, but he's not a conformity type person. So interesting for a cop, because it's all about conformity. So being an ex-cop sort of explains that away a little bit, I guess. Yes, it's very restricted here in Australia. Sorry, Kathy, aren't you in Australia? It's very restricted in America. Is that what you're saying? It's like highly restricted in Australia. I know they have to go. I know that the burners do have to jump through hoops in America to be able to do this. But, even this level of nudity and the burning things and stuff, like, you couldn't do any of that straight, even in the desert. So I would say it's less restricted in America. But yeah, oops, I didn't mean to leave that picture, the nudity stuff on my screen for too. Lucky I'm not monetized, eh? But yeah, so we were actually talking about some of this Burning Man stuff in the Discord. Um, Basically, it is about non-conformity. The Burning Man community is about non-conformity, about stepping outside of the stepping outside the box, thinking outside the box, not being predictable. There's a lot of drugs. I know there's a lot of like psychedelics that go with the Burning Man environment, but they're recreational drugs. Um, they're not usually like addicted to meth or heroin or that sort of stuff. That's actually very unusual in this environment. These are all pretty much like recreational types of substances that most of them probably don't even take any other time in their life except when they're actually on the player, because it goes hand in hand with that sort of environment. But so there you go. There is actually police that go out there and I can't read which police it is, but it's definitely law enforcement. Oh, he might have covered up which law enforcement it is, actually. Perhaps. I don't know. But there you go. See, the only time law enforcement turn up at our gigs is when... Oops. How do I get out of there? I'm stuck in there. It won't let me out. A few cops were dealing big amounts of drugs. Well, there you go. That doesn't surprise me, Sue Ellen. That happens here in Australia as well. Okay, so I stalled refilling my coffee cup before so I could do all of that. But now I'm going to go back. Anyway, if you've ever wanted this type of look at someone's Twitter account, this is a free thing that you can get. You can visit the website for free. You don't need to sign up. It's totally free access. You go here to the front page and you type in like you click Twitter handle, you type in the person's handle, and off you go. You got a full report on as many tweets as you want to collect. I think Twitter actually does have a limit on the number of tweets that you can collect over a period of time. So it's only showing you snapshots up to the Twitter RP limit, basically. But yeah, it's free. You don't need to sign up. You don't need to do anything. You can search for yourself and see what it says about your own. You can search for a handle, whatever you feel is appropriate. What I do wish is that there was some type of Instagram thing that you can do like this. There probably is. I just didn't feel like doing the whole signing up thing because they're not free like this one is. But yeah, so it's called socialbearing.com. Oh, there you go, Sue Ellen. You never know. You never know. Sometimes the way with the darndest things. Anyway, I'm just going to fill my water jug. So you're going to hear some weird noise now. I'm just going to mute for a second while I fill my water filter container. So for 1 second. All right, I'm back. So basically, I have looked through. I've looked through that account. I have entered an IP address. I can't tell you how I did that. I can tell you how I did it. None of you guys can do it though. you basically need a Linux computer and go do an OSINT course on how to run all the scripts, and then you can do some tricky shit in cybersecurity tricky shit. That's the short version. So yeah, at the moment, I'm just using a bunch of simple Windows, publicly accessible Windows stuff to just like do, some really basic sort of searches to work out who's who. But I can tell you from the OSINT sort of scripty kind of information that this guy doesn't actually live in that area. So, and he's literally traveling. His IP addresses are all over the place. So he is traveling. He is a nomad. Oh, this is happening. Is this happening right now on? Hang on, let me go have a look. Let me go get it up. Oh, stop. Come on. Don't be mean to me. Right. Let me stop sharing that screen. I think we're all done there anyway. Let me share this screen. See what Chris M's doing over there. Oh, whoops, wrong button. I don't even know how to use Twitter. I think I'm supposed to be over here. I don't ever use it. I just look occasionally to see what's going on. Is it on the picture that I look? Oh, look. It's Sue Ellen. Here you go. It could be. You might have made it private, Sue Ellen. Oops, I forgot to hit that button. To his fan club. Wow. I don't actually see his post in there anyway. Am I on the right one? But there is a tweet I'm not allowed to see. Yeah. Am I on the right one? Or is it the next one, the most recent one? Is it this one? It's not letting me do it. Obviously, it's not there. Click the right button, Aussie. Ah. You can tell I don't use Twitter very often. God damn it. I can't see any comments against those. It's quite far down. Is that what you're saying? Oh, darn. I definitely thought this person would say, I'm Brian Laundrie. You got me. There's some funny stuff going on there, isn't there? Yeah, read a few of these while I finish making my coffee. And go to Chris's Twitter page and click on tweets and answers. I'll do it that way. Hang on a sec. Let me finish making this coffee first. Well, that's pretty funny. Is it just Chris McDonough? We can actually find out what everyone's saying about Chris McDonough. Let's do that. Coffee good. Well, people are going to go off. Like, you would expect all of his friends and family to just go, what the hell? Because they actually know who he is. Nuts. Totally nuts. Yeah. He's not letting us look anymore. He must be copping it, eh? Can't see. Oh no, Bumblebee. Well, there you go. He has made his profile. Oh, hang on. Only followers. Hang on. I got to hit the follow. Can you tell that I don't use Twitter? I actually haven't ever followed anyone before either. So only approved followers. No, I am not going to seek approval from Chris McDonough. Hey. Oh, good. He deleted the video. Let's go have a look. Have a squizzy. You're all looking at my most recently viewed videos, so if you want to know how to do this stuff, these. Chris McDonough. It's the interview room that we're after. My computer is slowing down because it's getting hot. No, it's still there. The video is still there.
What did you control the web with your mind?
And the comments are still. Yep, it's still there. So there you go. He didn't answer you, Bumblebee. Or he did. No, he's turned all his stuff to private because he's copping too much flack. He can give it, but he can't take it. But I do digress. I didn't want to bash the guy. I just think that he's a freaking experienced detective, and he did zero detective work. I think maybe he needs to stop listening to what all his followers are emailing him and actually do, some actual detective work. Because it didn't take me long to work out that that's not Brian Laundrie. No, he turned the comments off in that video. They've been off since I looked at it, but I mean, he published it like ages before I saw it because I slept all day. So I don't know when he turned the comments off, but yeah, when he's going to cop backlash, I think that's his pattern now. He will turn the comments off, and well, he's got a back studio. Them guys can just get, a bossy old cloud bot like I've got that says stop doing that and delete stuff that shouldn't be said. It's pretty simple. He is Bumblebee. He worked a couple of cases now that we've actually seen. So I don't know if he knows, Sue, that it's not Brian. I know it's not Brian because out of all the places that his IP address has shown him to be tweeting from, none of them coincide with where Brian was. So, yeah, and if I can do that using publicly available sources, and he's supposed to be a detective and have contacts with law enforcement, they can easily do that with not publicly available resources. So yeah, he's just not doing any detective work. So right, I don't post very much at all on any of Chris's videos or his community page because I don't particularly need to be dumped on by all his fans. So quite happy to avoid that and not post comments. He doesn't listen to anyone anyway, so he's listening to people who send him information, and this is obviously someone sending him some information, so that he hasn't actually checked out. But you know what? Give him some time. He'll trip over his own feet a few times before he realizes he probably should do some detective work first. And we all make mistakes as well. Like, I made a boo-boo when I was doing the Rosie Bly thing and ended up, doxing the wrong person. But I was being quite careful not to show information about them or the families or, like stuff that people can jump on and start like bashing them with. So on the same token, I was wrong. I had the wrong Chris. So at some stage, you got to be able to accept that, yeah, barked up the wrong tree, got the wrong person, and admit it, and at least make that correction. If you're going to leave the video up, at least make that correction. That's right, Kathy. It was my duty because I was wrong. It's my duty when I'm wrong, when I found I am wrong, to come back and correct it. Now, I didn't want to take the video down because all the rest of the information was actually correct. It was only that tiny little, 5 minutes out of the whole hour video. Right. That's right, Sue Ellen. It was a lot of ifs and buts. Oh, let's do that again so that we've got something happening on the screen. So yeah, all a bit interesting. So there is there are a few ways that you can do standard looking around for things on the internet, and it gives you an idea what the possibilities are. So first of all, the possibilities of how many nomadic names are on Twitter. That was a crazy amount of nomadic names on Critter. That's what my kids and I call it, Critter. That's why I've never used it. Well, with his, yes. That's right, Sue Ellen. You could say he's Dead Bundy. So, yeah. All very interesting. So, yeah, I'm going to do my own little visit on the timeline with the Brian and Gabby thing, because there's a few things that stand out to me on the timeline. So I want to sort of work out what period of time Brian had to go see his lawyer, because we know the police turned up on his doorstep on the 11th to ask him where Gabby is. And so somewhere between the 4th of September and the 11th of September, we actually don't know that he was even at the house. Nobody saw him at the house. Nobody filmed him at the house. The neighbours saw them go when they went camping, but they didn't see him after that. There's been absolutely no sightings of him from the 4th of September, when he came back from camping with his parents, supposedly came back camping, to now. There's been nothing. The media was camped on their doorstep, has been camped on their doorstep like forever, and nobody has filmed him there at that house on any days. And if I am wrong with that, please do tell me where to look, because I have found nothing. I certainly am not sitting here watching minute-to-minute coverage on the laundry's front door. So if I've missed something there, it's quite possible. Please do point me in the right direction. But I'm absolutely certain that, if there was any sighting from the day he allegedly came home from camping with his parents, to present day, I would like to know what those sightings are, or even from that day to the day he went missing, because in that period he still wasn't he wasn't charged with anything. He wasn't going to be dragged anywhere for questioning. The cops were not saying that any crime had happened. So from those 2 dates up to the Tuesday that he went missing, yeah. And so the Tuesday he come home from camping, which would have been the 6th in America, to the 13th in America, the 6th to the 13th. I want to see any sightings of him in that time, because he didn't come to the door when the police knocked on the door. The parents said they're not going to produce him. And so I reckon he was already gone by that stage. The parents answered the door, and nobody has filmed him there at all. So it'd be good to know if anyone has, if there's any snapshots of him having been there. Pretty sure there isn't. So even just getting from the house to the camper when they took him camping, how did anyone miss that? So the neighbours said he did go camping with them, but I don't know how they knew that he actually went camping with them unless they saw him get in the camper, in the vehicle with the parents. So anyway, that's an interesting sort of snippet. That's right, Kathy. And they said talk to his lawyer. So people have been doing, deep dives on, what the parents are worth. Well, what the parents are worth means nothing except that they can afford a lawyer, I guess. What the parents are worth doesn't, indicate murder, does it? It's really got nothing to do with it. But people are just digging into all of these rabbit holes that really have nothing to do with, what could possibly point to murder. And at this point, I don't see anything that actually does point to Brian having murdered Gabby. What I am worried is that whoever murdered the Moab girls followed them, maybe, allegedly, my opinion only. One of the possible scenarios that people aren't entertaining because they're so stuck. They're stuck on having a bad guy. They need to have a bad guy. If you don't have a bad guy, like look at the Summer Wells case. They need to have a bad guy, and because there is no bad guy to be found there, well, Don's got to be that guy. It has to be him. So they'll just pick a bad guy anyway. And even with the way Chris has pulled apart that Nomadic Trek's Twitter account, has to be a bad guy. He has to be. Look at all the things he's been saying. He must be a bad guy. He's like a psychopath, man. Look at all the psychopathic shit he's typing on his Twitter page. And I'm sure that guy appreciates he's thinking like a psychopath. He's going to have all his friends and family sitting there scratching their heads going, is he going to turn around and kill one of us one day? He must be a psychopath. This is just like completely unfair bullshit, really. It was before he was reported missing. This is what the neighbours reported. The long weekend. So look at your calendar in America and check out what was the long weekend. It was September the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, right? Monday being the 4th. Am I right? That's it, Sue Ellen. It's just it's a speculation, and it's got as much evidence behind it as any other speculation, and it's so therefore just as valid as any other speculation, if that makes sense. So, Brandy, just to finish what I was saying to you, September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is the long weekend there in America, right? That's when the neighbours said that the Laundries went camping. And Gabby was reported missing on September the 11th. Nah, it wasn't a week and a half. They said it was the long weekend. August 3rd and 6th. Well, that's right. That here in Australia is a day ahead. So for us, it was the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Whereas in America, it was the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Where usually is that where people stop to pee? That's right. September 6th was Labor Day. That's the Monday was a public holiday, right? So it would be the 3rd was the Friday. 3rd, 4th, and 6th. Eh? That's when the Guthries said that they went camping. That Labor Day weekend. That's when it was. There's even really weird stuff with the van. So I will give Linda from It's a Crime one brownie point on the fact that there does appear to be a new sticker on the van. So when that sticker turned up is a good question, because in the videos, in the police camera footage, there's only 2 stickers on the back of the van. And then when the police took the van and sent a photo then of them taking the van, it was there's a sticker popped up. So between that, when was I forget the day. I think it was the 13th of August or something, somewhere between the 13th of August and when did they take the car? The 11th, I think, of September, a new sticker popped up. Yeah, that's what I thought too, Brandy. Everyone's like, go look at Linda. So I'm so over Linda. Like, I think there was a point with Linda where I just got over her. I think that was with the who was that guy that went missing, and she just wouldn't leave it alone. You know, the cops were like, they found him in the end, and even after they found him, she's like, oh no, cover up, has to be a cover up because patterns. Let me just go and look at this on my TV walking to you. It's a crime. With their snacks, her little info snacks. This case, I'll just tell you the name of the case because I'm so bad at names. I have to literally go through Justin Evans, okay? She had herself so convinced that Justin Evans was murdered and didn't just go missing that when the police found his body and the coroner said no, he's died of natural causes, she couldn't let it go. She had her and this is what happens when evidence comes up, that when evidence is presented, when you've already got your own narrative stuck in your head, and then evidence comes up that doesn't fit your narrative, then you reject the evidence rather than taking on the evidence and working out where that fits in the actual case, not your particular narrative, but the actual case. Sometimes you might just end up finding out that no, the police aren't lying. They aren't covering anything up. You know, in the murder case, yes, I can see that there might be some cover-ups there because of who the murderers are. The murderers are like Murdochs, whatever they're called, the Ducks. They are lawyers. They're very powerful people. So yeah, I can see absolutely connections being made there that that is still speculation because a lot of evidence hasn't come out, but I can still see connections there that would indicate there could be cover-ups going on there, that they've got all this money and they can pay people to cover shit up. But the Justin Evans case isn't one of those cases. You know, these are nobodies. They're just average, normal, working class people. They don't have that sort of cash. They don't have that sort of notoriety. They don't have reputations to protect and all that sort of. So they don't have millions of dollars in insurance funds and blah, blah, like the Murdochs do. So, yeah, so the Justin Evans case is probably where I sort of lost interest in Linda's antics. She's definitely like, she definitely goes down rabbit holes. So it's, you know, go and have a look at the rabbit hole she's looking down and see if you see the same thing. Sometimes, most times I don't. But yeah, I feel like she just gets too blinkered. She's got this narrative, and if it doesn't fit the narrative, then she like dismisses it. It didn't happen. It's not evidence. But when the police are saying that this is evidence, and the coroner is saying this is evidence, you got to take it on face value that it is actually evidence. You know, there's also that. So who's that other boy that everyone was up in arms about? His case got revisited. The boy found at school wrapped in a gym mat. What's his name again? It's got a K in it. I can see a K. Kenneth. Who was that boy? So African American lad. You know, they was like, oh my God, that was a cover up, blah blah blah. But there was no actually. No, that's the little baby boy. I'm talking about like a school, college student. He was found in the gym, wrapped up in that. Thank you, Kendrick Johnson. Got him. That's the one. So the Kendrick Johnson, like, oh, that was a cover up. No, because what has his family got to do with the law or law enforcement or government or anyone? There's no cover up to be had there. There's nothing there that I can see that would benefit any bring up. They say, oh, what about the school? The school covered it up. Well, the school covered up what though? What did they cover up? Because they certainly didn't hide the fact that one of their students was found dead in the gym. So, if it was a cover up, it was a bad one because that one got out. I believe there could still be some students who are lying about what happened there. I believe that's partly why the case was reopened, I guess. It certainly wasn't reopened because everyone thought it was a cover-up. There's obviously some more evidence come to light, or else they wouldn't have reopened the case. So I'm just trying to think of another one. What's the other one? So another thing that I think Linda did very, very well, which got me thinking too, was she dove into the why am I forgetting all these freaking names? She dove into the Daybell Vallow case and picked apart the Mormon stuff, or the LDS stuff, and I thought that was very interesting because I actually watched the L Mum. If you've ever heard of her, the L Mum, she's pretty bloody good. She's an ex-LDS, and she goes into it in quite some detail as well, and all these, special little ceremonies and what they mean and whatnot. But she sort of straightens out that whole LDS aspect a lot better, I think. Oh no, Brandy. Everyone's phones are dying. Have I been on here long enough? If all your phones are dying, if all your equipment's running out of battery, then maybe I have been on here long enough. I'm down to 1/3 on my battery, and I'm almost ready to get the ice pack out, although it doesn't seem to be too bad. It's got a little bit of warmth, but it's not cooking like it usually does. Yeah, so look up the L Mum. She's so funny. If you guys will love her. She is just the funniest thing. I'll see if I can find her and put her on the screen for you. She's she does all these really big deep dives into the LDS, like where the LDS church has, like, what do you call it, allowed, I guess, or even in some cases encouraged some of these extracurricular ideas to explode, like Chad and Laurie had. So, but yeah, she's very interesting, but she's also very funny about it as well. The L stands for lesbian. She's the lesbian mum. So she gets a little bit, upset when people go over there and hassle her for being a lesbian. I guess that's why she's not LDS anymore too, because they tried to put her through some sort of turning her not lesbian kind of routine. Yeah. Yeah, that was a cringe moment too. So yeah, here's the L Mum's channel. She's awesome. Go watch her if you want to learn about the actual ins and outs of the religion, and what they should have been doing, I guess, is my thing. What they should have been doing to not, what do you call it, to not encourage or not allow, this kind of stuff to be used as part of the religion. So yeah, you noticed that too, Sue Ellen. Yeah. I much prefer. So this is the Old Mum's channel, so you can all go and check her out. She's pretty cool. I noticed that Mike from Profiling Evil, he spreads it out a bit. You know, he has a lot of different content, and interestingly, he doesn't cop a lot of flack because I'm pretty sure he's a Republican. I don't know. He's either Republican or he's like a little bit more center left, perhaps. I'm not sure, but I'm surprised he doesn't cop more flack. Or maybe just more people haven't worked out that that he is. I'm not sure, but like he's far more polite. He certainly doesn't jump down, rabbit holes that don't need to be jumped down. He has in like 2 cases that I know of now, or 3 cases now. He's like telling people don't go after like the kids in the Morphew case. Don't go after those kids. Their lives are upside down. Don't go after them. And also in the West case, he wouldn't go into that in much detail. Like the only thing that he actually mentioned about it was the dog. Why wouldn't the dog bark? But there was actually no proof that there literally was a dog living at their house. So other than that, he wouldn't go into any details on the West case. And then more recently, he was saying, we don't need to come down on the Wells. They're an underprivileged, family. So let's not come down on them either. So like I like that about Mike King. He's just definitely more balanced about it. Like he did have he had that doctor on there, that Dr. Amy, what's her name? She was well, I would say probably a little bit disrespectful with something that she mentioned, but you only have to see the expression on his face. He was like, let's just move on from that subject because he just wasn't commenting on it at all. He moved straight on. She was saying something about the Tennessee mountain people and all the Appalachian lifestyle, and it was quite derogatory. And Mike just very quickly like breezed over that and changed the subject. So this is what I like about him. He's not quick to put people down. He's very measured in his responses, what he's going to talk about or not talk about. He's actually doing a live right now on Adika Live about the manhunt for Brian Laundrie. So that'll be interesting. So Adika Live, if you don't know who he is, he used to be in a band, and I forget which band. You might all remember his face and remember the name of the band as soon as we go over there. But yeah, he's doing a live right now with Adika. So there you go. See, Adika's like very much a lefty, very much a good lefty though. Like he's not he's not an extremist, and he has a lot of friends who are righties. So he's one of those balanced ones. You don't have to hate the left, and you don't have to hate the right. You don't have to actually take sides. It doesn't matter who you vote for. You don't need to take sides and hate people who don't vote the way you vote. That's immaturity, and that's what I like about both of these guys. They're not in that category of, and I think they actually did understand that whole division of American attitudes was a psyop in itself. So a lot of people were onto that, like as it started happening, that it was going to be a psyop. And it was a very successful psyop too. Like it certainly divided a lot of Americans and created a lot of social warfare and all the stuff that went with 70,000 Twitter users getting banned off Twitter because they're not because they dissenters. That's crazy in itself. Like, I think most people don't understand that if you don't have an opposition and dissenters and ability to dissent, you don't live in democracy. And if you don't live in a democracy, what are you doing dropping bombs on other countries that don't have democracy, right? So I think it was just really bad democracy, certainly not democracy at all, when people who dissented from the mainstream narrative all got banned off social media. Like, I went on Facebook the other day and I typed a quote about, it's to do with burning books. Remember the era when we burnt books? But it was sort of a more later quote from someone's name who I'm not allowed to say on any social media at all, starting with H and used to be in Germany and started all that shit in Germany. Yeah, him. Typed a quote about him and the whole burning books era. And I got freaking warnings, flashing warnings. You can't message anyone for 5 days, and like, bullshit. Like, what the hell why are they punishing me for like quoting freaking history? Are we going to burn books? Is that what we're doing now? We're going to be burning books? Because if you can't quote someone from history without, but that's what this whole like divisive crap with Trump's America, bloody the trying to dethrone Trump and all that shit, that's what this has all caused. We actually are going to go through a book burning just so that no country ends up with a Trump again. Like, really? Really? Was he that bad? Seriously? Yeah, he was bad, but every country's had a bad leader. Everyone's going to vote in a bad leader once in a while. But does that mean you ditch democracy because, people voted for a bad leader? You don't ditch democracy for that reason. He certainly wasn't a dictator in the sense of, some of the dictators whose name I just mentioned and can't say again because it's on YouTube. So yeah, so very interesting how that psyop ended up working out, right? In the end. So everyone's gone quiet. Am I boring you all to death again? Or are you all out looking for stuff? Brandy, are you back with us? What is it that you wanted to talk about? I don't really like talking about politics when I know everybody's so sensitive about it and gets upset about things. Like, when that all dies over, I will talk more about politics. But like right now, it's sort of everyone's just too emotional to talk about the way they went and why they are the way they are. Or just listening. Well, I run out of things to say, so if you're out chucking some topics at me, what made me stop watching her? I've got that one. And on the Discord, Brandy, you said that there was something you wanted to throw in. I guess I can stop sharing that now. Anyone got any topics they want to throw out there? Or if not, I'm going to end the live. It's been 2 hours now, so. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah, since we're this far in, this is what I like to do. I like to drop bombshells, but like right at the end when nobody else will actually watch this far into the video. I was watching Voices Behind the Wall butcher that poor woman that essentially came out. Yeah. Jinx, Kathy, that we were thinking the same thing. Wasn't that terrible? So yes, I saw the videos of the Wells neighbour speaking. Jodie, her name is. Well, that's the name she's using to do this, so we'll call her that. So we saw her her own deposition that she recorded herself sitting by herself, and when I saw that, I thought, well, she has just corroborated a lot of what Don has said and Candace has said. She corroborated quite a number of things. I probably should go back and watch it again and list them all off, like what the corroborations were. And this is evidence. Like, this is what the police, and even if it went to a court, this would be called evidence. No, I'm not liking that either. The whole scenario is a bit sad. But yeah, this would be called corroborating evidence. So the person of interest, let's say Don is a person of interest for the sake of argument, allegedly. He says, I was at work. I didn't get home until blah, blah, blah. I was on the phone with Candace at this time. We both rang the police, blah, blah, blah. So that's his testimony. Then Candace goes in and she gives her testimony and says, well, Don was at work and he was blah, 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 blah. And then Grandma goes in and she gives her testimony and she says, yeah, well, Don was at work and blah, blah, blah. And now the neighbor comes into it and she goes to the police and she says, well, Don was at work and they're on the phone with Candace, blah, blah, blah. So that's corroboration. You got 5 witnesses all corroborating the same story. So, you know, the fact that Cher can't wrap her head around it doesn't really mean shit. The fact is that there's a whole bunch of witnesses who have corroborated the story, all right? And that is called evidence. That is called first-hand evidence. It's not hearsay. It's the neighbour saying, I saw Candace go to work, Candace drive out of the driveway. I saw Candace on with Don. I know Don was not there because I didn't see him, right? Those are first-hand accounts. They're not hearsay. Candace was there with them, not hearsay. Candace was part of the story, not hearsay. Don saying I was at work, not hearsay. Yes, school. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that just to back her up because she's awesome. I like Squall Tip. I think her name is very odd. I have no idea what one of those is. It's obviously some type of bird, since I now know she's a bird watcher. But let me just back her up on something because I thought that was a very good. I mean, I've already done this on the West Boys case, so might as well do it again. Right, well, Candace don't like her because she doesn't want Don blabbing about anything. You know, this isn't her first rodeo. You know, they've already been through this with Rosie. Candace and Grandma told Don, you know, this is how it is. You can't speak to anyone. I mean, but then look at Brian Laundrie. He didn't speak to anyone and he's still copping it anyway. So I don't think it really would have mattered whether they spoke with anyone or not. And that's also the point, you know, that I'm making in the Rosie Bly videos is that, you know, a lot of people are saying shit anyway, even though, you know, there's so much information out there. It's not a lot of information, but there's a lot more in that case than there are in other cases. But you know, and people are still making up freaking stories. So I think Candace has, you know, probably trepidation because of what she's been through. But Brandy, there is already a video out for that on Roberta Laundrie. And no, she has never been a DA. She doesn't. You only have to look at the Florida bar to look at all the names that are registered through the Florida bar. And right, they're all damned. It doesn't matter if you talk or not. Everyone was like, Jackie and Trezell are guilty because they're not talking to anyone. Well, as soon as even Grandma in that case came out and said something to them because they were all camped outside her house for weeks, terrorizing her family. But she said, 5 words, and that went all over the internet, and everyone was like, "Ooh, what does it mean? It doesn't mean what she thinks it means," and blah blah blah. It was just terrible. Brandy, yeah, I didn't actually do the searches myself because the people who did do the searches, I actually trust that they know what they're talking about. I will go and search stuff if I don't trust a certain YouTuber to be on the over the mark. So yes, I will go and search it. But no, I will give you the YouTube. Let me give you the YouTube that I got it from. He does an hour and a half live stream. Now, she could have worked as a secretary, maybe, right? But she doesn't have the there's like a government check that turns up on your public records if you have worked for anyone like that, and they don't turn up in her records. So I think that rules her out, even secretary. But let me give you the videos. You go and pull all that apart. I like this guy, Andy Senior, his name is. Let me find him. I'll stick him on the screen. Now, the good thing about Andy is that he's literally working with a lawyer on these stories. And this lawyer is who does his little searches. Like, he was the one that searched the Florida bar and all that sort of stuff to work out if she'd ever been a DA or whatever. So the Florida Bar Association, you can do searches there as the public, but he's actually got a lawyer doing it. He knows what he's doing. So well, thanks for the vote of confidence. But I've already got one of those searches wrong. But I do trust this guy, all right? I trust the lawyer that works with this guy, and I'm getting there. But because I'm streaming, it's taking YouTube freaking ages to load up the Ruru. Okay, where are you, dude? I'll just do it as a search. There you go. I'll get him up on the stream. So this guy is working with a lawyer, and the lawyer comes up and tells you, no, that information is incorrect. Covering a lot of legal cases. Him and this lawyer, a lot of legal cases. So yeah, very well worth going and having a watch of this channel as well, if you want to follow up some of the stuff there. Yeah, I do trust them, Brandy. They have not led me astray yet. So he was dissing Dog the bounty hunter, and his whole audience went off. And they're like, don't diss him, blah blah blah. So then he had to so it's this video here, this one right here. His whole audience is going, don't diss dog the about. So then he does a like about face about an hour of the way through the stream. Oh, sorry, I haven't got it on the screen yet. Okay, let me just do that again. So it's called Popcorn Planet. The actual lawyer himself, he's got his own channel. So this guy here, he gets that lawyer on screen, and so the video that where they do that is right here, where they're talking about the legal stuff involved with the case. And yeah, he had to actually backtrack what he said about dog. So then he's gone and put this second video out where he's like just snipped it down to where he's like saying, yeah, dog's a good guy, he'll go find it, blah blah blah, because he had to backtrack all of that. Oh, it was so funny. Oh, that's no good, Brandy. I'm sorry you're having depression. Yeah, it's a good channel, Brandy. It's an awesome channel. So the cases that I'm following through Popcorn Planet, because this Melson guy, Chris Melson, I think he's Melcher. Chris Melcher. So Chris Melcher is giving him all the legal, the legal stuff, so that he's not putting out misinformation on anything. But yeah, the stories that I'm following, the stories I'm following through there are, so obviously the Gabby case, because Chris Melcher is on that case now, and the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Chris Melcher is starting to get involved in that case now, and then the Britney Spears conservatorship. He's doing a lot of good work in that area. Chris Melcher's actually put a petition to the courts to because the courts are taking away America's rights to public gallery in the courtroom, and everyone wants Britney's trial to be in the pub, to be aired to the public. Obviously you can't go in physically, obviously you can't physically go into the public gallery right now because of COVID, but that's what he's fighting for them to put it on Zoom, so that, because most of the courts do have that facility to Zoom the public gallery, Zoom it out to the public. So that's good news, Brandy. I'm so glad to hear that there's some improvement. So yeah, so follow Popcorn Planet is that channel, and then the other guy, he appears more on TV and over here at Popcorn Planet than he actually uploads. So he might be a bit boring to like follow his channel because he doesn't do a lot of his own uploading there. So there's his channel as well. He's a family law specialist, doing a lot of coverage on the Britney case, because it's not really family law, it's probate law, but because it's her family that are involved in the probate courts, he's doing a lot of coverage on that. So he sometimes uploads when he's been on TV and whatever. So that's another good one if you want the goods on stuff. But he's the one who did the actual research, Brandy, on whether or not Roberta Laundrie had ever worked for the DA. So when you work for the government, when you get a job for the American government, they do this like it's sort of it's a special approval kind of like pre-approval kind of like status, and it's listed on your public records if you've been through one of these to work for the government. I forget the name of it right now. I can probably go dig it up for you to remember the name of it, but yeah, it's a it's like an application, I guess, to the government, and then once they approve you, you can actually go and apply for government work. So we've got one here in Australia, but it's called something different, so there's no point in me using that word for what it is here in Australia. I actually have one myself, but it's the same concept, basically. So you do this like application process to get a job with the government. You get like, it's sort of like certified, I guess. I'm certified AO1 for AO1 type jobs. So our government has like categories of jobs that you can get employed, where you can get employment. So America has a similar sort of system, only theirs is like far more complex than ours. But so I have seen this in Americans' public records. I don't want to say whose public records, but it was someone related to the West Boys case. Someone in that case had these approvals done so that they could work for the government. But yeah, so I know what they are. I know what they look like, and they don't show up on her public records. So she's not registered at the Florida Bar Association. She's never been registered historically. She doesn't have this particular like government approval sort of status. So those are enough evidence for me that is just a rumor. But see, people want that to be true because it fits their narrative. It fits their whole cover-up narrative. I mean, there's absolutely a cover-up going on, and that is the parents are trying to cover up for their son. I believe that part is true, and it's still, again, only my speculation, allegedly, but the fact that it matches other people's speculation gives me a free pass, doesn't it? Hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, there's a cover-up going on, I think, but I don't think it's to do with the cops. So I don't think the cops are trying to hide this guy. I don't think they're trying to hide that he could be connected to the Moab murders. I absolutely don't believe he is connected to the Moab murders, because if you think about it, if they believe in any way whatsoever he is connected to the Moab murders as well now you're talking about a serial killer manhunt, right? Why would the FBI want to hide that? They want everyone out there looking for it. They want maximum exposure to catch the guy. So there's no reason that they would hide that, right? No reason for them to hide it. More reason for them to put it out there and say, okay, we suspect this person could be involved in other murders. So they certainly have said that about other serial killers that they've been hunting. So there's no reason why they wouldn't say it about this one. That's right, Cassio. They can't be charged for accessories after the fact. I'm sure I actually went through this in my last video, in my last live, but yes. Did I go? Actually, maybe I didn't go through it. I think I just read it out to someone. Actually, let me just get the Florida. FLA, Florida. Statute. Right there. That's the one I wanted. About accessory after the fact. Here, I'll show you this. Let me get it up on the screen. Let's get rid of the ice pack and get this up on the screen. I think it was this one. Let's get this up on the screen. So this is a law firm in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. So the Florida Statute 777.03 defines what it means to be an accessory after the fact in Florida. When you violate this law, you assist someone after he or she has committed a felony by helping in his or her evade of arrest, trial, conviction, or punishment. In so doing, you yourself commit a felony offence. However, there is an important exception written into the law known as the related person exemption. This provision holds that an individual can't be charged with accessory after the fact if they are the suspect's wife, husband, parent, a grandparent, child, grandchild, brother by blood or marriage, or sister by blood or marriage. Those who are not protected under the related persons exemption include uncle, aunt, cousin, mother or father of a shared child, unless married, the boyfriend or a girlfriend. So there you go. The parents are exempt from accessory after the fact under Florida law. So just so you know, guys, that is absolutely fact. So I actually am wondering, though, if there isn't a civil matter that they can embark on. I think there might be civil recourse for what the parents are doing for Gabby's family. Could be. I'm not sure. Right now, they're going after Gabby's family are going after Brian's lawyer for using pictures of Gabby to advertise his law firm. That's what they're claiming that he's doing. So that's definitely a civil matter. And I do think that there might be a civil, there might be some civil action that they can take with the parents. I just know that the law itself, like the cops or the state, can't do it. So yeah, I'm just saying that the state can't do it, Brandy. Like the cops can't charge the parents. The cops can't go and arrest the parents because they're state. Where the FBI probably could if they had probable cause. The FBI could, but the problem with that is the FBI literally have to go to court and ask a judge, and the judge has to approve the reasons, the probable cause, for them to be able to go and arrest them. And at this stage, they so the federal statute that would cover them is that's the Constitution, and in the Constitution, that's your Fifth Amendment. You don't have to say anything that's incriminating about yourself or your kids. So I think they're covered on both of those. So the federal law, which is your Constitution, right, that covers quite a bit of what the feds can and can't do. And the federal law is also part of what the states are allowed to legislate or not allowed to legislate. Or if they do legislate it and you take it to a Supreme Court, it'll get smacked down because the Constitution forbids it. So a lot of states are actually enacting laws that are against your Constitution. But if you've got the money to fight it through to a Supreme Court, then generally, if it is in your Constitution, then it will probably get smacked out of the Supreme Court as well. So I don't think they will, Brandy. I can't see any I can't see any, what do you call it? I can't see any law that they can arrest them for. They can't arrest them for not saying anything. They can't arrest them for saying Brian's not here. They can't arrest them for taking him elsewhere, because you have to remember, when they took him elsewhere, if they took him elsewhere when they went camping, when they did that, there was no warrant out for his arrest, so he wasn't a fugitive at that point. So the police could not force him to talk to them. The FBI could not force him to talk to them. That's by federal and state law. So at the time that they did that, right up until the arrest warrant was issued on the, when was that? The 20, I can't remember, the 20 something, 25th, I think. Or sorry, in your 23rd in the States. So on the 23rd, I think, when the actual arrest warrant was issued, if they had done anything with Brian after that date, then he was a fugitive and he was wanted by the police. And so they were assisting him to evade arrest. Whereas prior to that arrest warrant going out, he wasn't under arrest. There was no arrest. There was nothing. They weren't breaking any law. They weren't trying to help him avoid arrest. They weren't trying to help him do anything. So there's no legal, that right, they are one step ahead of law enforcement. That's right, Cassie. So, yeah, I don't agree with any of this. Just because I'm calling it doesn't mean I agree with any of it. I wish they could be arrested. It would be awesome if they could be arrested. But the fact is they can't. I mean, even walking them out of their house that day so that they could search the house, they weren't in cuffs. They were kept in the van, in the FBI van, so they can do the search on the premises. But they couldn't just get them to stand out on the footpath because of all the threats and shit that was going out on the footpath. So even that wasn't anything. They weren't even being held, as law enforcement calls it, for anything. They were just being protected so that they didn't have to stand out on the street while the house was being searched. So only if they find out they had prior knowledge. And Brandy, again, it has to come with evidence. They can't just accuse them, oh, you had prior knowledge. They can't just accuse them. They have to prove that they knew that Brian had done this crime before the arrest warrant went out. It's all right, Brandy, and I respect that you don't agree. It's good. It is all good. So I don't think we all have to be on the exact same page, but I just can't see any particular. I know it would be good if someone could be, only if he rang them and told them, but I don't think he was stupid enough to do that, Brandy. Cell phone data would show maybe a phone call occurred between them, but not what was said during that phone call. That's so that's a stretch. Knowing that he talked to them when he got home, they can't prove what he said in those conversations. The only way the cell phone data could possibly be incriminating is if he texted to them, because that's stored on a cloud, and the FBI do have access to that cloud. It takes them ages to get the court to approve it and to get the cell phone company to release it and all that blah blah blah. But if he had actually sent a text to his parents, yes, I killed Abby, sorry, Gabby, I did it again, then that might be evidence. But otherwise, I just don't see how they could prove that they had prior knowledge of a crime being committed. I personally don't think he would have admitted it to his parents. I really don't. I don't think that he would have, like, just imagine what sort of fucked up relationship you have to have with your parents to be able to go home and say, well, I murdered somebody and they'll protect you. That's a pretty fucked up relationship, you know what I mean? Most parents want to protect you, not that way, but by, like, you know, not having to fucking murder someone to start with. So who's going to go home and tell their parents? Right, I would like to know what he told them when he showed up alone. I reckon he told them that they just broke up. That's what I reckon. I don't reckon he told them that he killed her. But that's such a hard, like, first of all, most killers don't even admit it to them fucking selves that they killed someone. They go to jail and they spend their entire life in jail telling everybody else, I didn't kill that person. So I don't think he's admitted it to anyone, not even himself. Like, and I wouldn't mind betting even after he's caught, he'll still spend his whole life denying it, you know? So, you know, Chris Watts was probably the what would you call him? He was the differentiator. You know, he was the one who said, yeah, okay, I did it, and admitted that he did it. Now he's like doing a 360 because he doesn't want to admit he did it. But it's too late, Chris, you already admitted you did it. So, but he was the outline, he was the outer, he was the example. You know, this doesn't happen where people just admit what they did. Because the parents reported her missing, Brandy. So that's why he did that. So the dates were, the parents reported Gabby missing on the 11th, and he lawyered up on the 14th. Had it happened the other way around, if it was a 360, if he had lawyered up first and then the family reported her missing, then I would have been sus that what he told his parents. But I don't think he told his parents anything. And I think when Gabby's family reported her missing, his parents just had that, holy shit, she's missing. You broke up with her and now she's missing. I think that's all he told her, was that he broke up with her. He won't even admit it to himself. That's right, Kathy. No, Brandy, the story that I have, like, followed by all of the media sources is that the lawyer came out on the 14th to speak on his behalf. That was 3 days after the family reported her missing. There was no word from anybody from that family. No one would speak to anyone in that family until that lawyer came out on the 14th. So, but this is why I was trying to say I need to go over the timeline and get this timeline down a little bit tighter, because he could have gone to the lawyer. So if he went to the lawyer between the Labor Day camping trip and the 11th, when the family reported Gabby missing, if he went to the lawyer in that week, then that puts it before Gabby was reported missing. But if he didn't go to the lawyer in that week, right, that means he had to have gone to the lawyer after after the 11th. So that was the Friday when that lawyer came out and spoke up for him. So that means that he had 1 day between the 11th, when the family reported the missing. Sorry, I got those 2 dates wrong. Let me just rephrase that. He had 1 day between the family reporting Gabby missing to when the lawyer came out and said, I'm speaking on his behalf, right? 1 day. Two days. Okay, well, I'll have to hear that from the father. Was it the father or the stepfather that said that? I'll have to go over that. This is why I need to tighten this timeline down, because it got loosened up. People trying to fit the timeline to their narratives, like the media, for example, are loosening the timeline, not tightening it. So that's why I want to go in and do another recap on the timeline to tighten it up a bit. and see what was going on in that period. So her bio father, radio. So 2 days before he reported Gabby missing, so 11/9/8, so on the 8th of September, he went over there, knocked their door, and what did they do? Gave him the lawyer's number. Yeah, I'm starving too. I've been at this for a bit. It's time to eat my dinner. It's really late here though. So, yeah, interesting, right? Let's tighten up that time gap. Gabby's father was at the laundries on the 10th, and he said to lawyer. So then they reported her missing on 11th. So if they had a bad breakup, the parents might be fine to say, okay, you might need a lawyer. Because she was living with them, so she was, de facto, in a de facto relationship. So, how about you guys? I give you a way to contact me, and you send me some links and stuff. Let me give you a way to contact me, because I have it now, and I can make it public. Let me show you. I'll stick it on the screen and I'll show you. Come on, cooperate. I'll show you how to contact me. Well, they could have had just prior knowledge of a breakup, Brandy. Dr. Phil interview, radio. I'll go and watch the Dr. Phil interview. I am so far behind on information. That's why I wanted to revisit. Exactly why I want to revisit timeline. So I can get the dates and the times on here. So this here, my friends, this is where you can contact me. So if you go up here into the burger menu, and you'll see right there, see contact me. And you can contact me there. Whoops. That was bad. I didn't realize that I was logged in. Anyway, the address that you want. I can't believe I did that. I've been trying to keep it off the bloody screen. I mean, it doesn't really matter because I've already got doxed by someone already. But let me just post the link in here for you. Now, if you do contact me this way, I can give you the Discord invite, okay? Well, let's look into it. Let's pull that one apart. I'll go and grab the Dr. Phil interview with Gabby's dad. So was it her actual dad, her bio dad, or her stepdad? Let me get it up on my TV screen. Google doesn't like my voice so I'm doing a voice search on my TV. It doesn't understand potato. Dr. Phil interview Gabby Petito's dad. It's potatoes. See what I mean? Joseph Petito. Gabby Petito's father speaks out on Dr. Phil. It's a half an hour show. And he's done another thing yesterday, so I'll have to go look at it. Okay, I've got it. I've got it right here on the screen. So let's do it. Let's pull our information together. If you contact me on the link that I have just put in the chat, go to the contact me section, get in touch with me that way, and I will send you out a link to your I will send you a link to the Discord, an invitation to join the Discord. And on the Discord, we're discussing a lot of stuff in the background that we don't discuss, that we can't discuss on YouTube, because it's about, things you're not allowed to say on YouTube. So, come and join the conversation. It's not a fluid conversation yet, but I'm sure the more of yous that come over and join us, the more fluid it will get. So I found a couple of yous through Chasing Truth's Discord server and sent you invites that way. So there is other information that we've been discussing and we seem to be all in agreement with, but it's not stuff that we can talk on YouTube about, just because it's like, it goes against community guidelines, those sort of topics. So yeah, let's go over there. Let's share some information there and pull this timeline a bit closer together. Anything that you find on the timeline, either from the media or from law enforcement, or the media quoting law enforcement, anything like that. Yeah, sorry, Brandy, the YouTube doesn't let you share links in the chat unless you're a mod, and so I'm not seeing it at this end. So I've heard snippets from Tampa Bay, 10 Tampa Bay, and a couple of other the W and Fox, a couple of those channels that have spoken with the parents. So I'll just do a little catch up and then we will talk about it on Discord and get into it a little bit further, because I'd like to do a video on the timeline and just get some of these things a little bit more tight around that type timeline, so we can absolutely be sure that, if he lawyered up before Gabby's family realized she was missing, then there's absolutely something wrong with that. But on the same token, I still can't see how that would implicate his own parents. So, hey, Pansy, you just caught us as we were about to wrap up. So, can you see it? I can see it in the Discord. You can send me the link in Discord. I'm just not in Discord right now because I've got my tablet on a gel pack. Can you hear it? Can you hear that plastic going crunch, crunch, crunch? That's a cold gel pack because I've gone nearly 3 hours with this live chat. So I'm getting to the overheating point. Cooking stuff on me. Oh, guys, Dispatch audio proves Utah officers knew Brian Laundrie was back. Whoa. Okay, that's on Popcorn Planet. I just got notified. All right. So go over to Popcorn Planet and watch that video, because that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll watch this Dr. Phil interview, and then we'll have a powwow on the Discord and work out some more stuff on the timeline. And with all's your help, we can do another video talking about the timeline. I've actually got a timeline app on my website, so I can, I've pressed something wrong here. I've got a timeline app uploaded on my own website, so I can actually plug all the information into that and we can have a look at it. So I've done one of these before with the West Boys, so I can even show you the West Boys timeline if you want. So yes, homework. It's some homework. Pansy, I did get your email, and I haven't got to that, but if you jump over on the Discord, we'll have a discussion about that while we're over on the Discord, all right? No, this is a new announcement, Brandy. This is from the Melcher guy. This is from the Melcher lawyer. He's got his hands on some police documents. Yeah. Oh, don't you? I'll send you an invite in the email, Pansy. I thought I grabbed you. I sent you an invite on Kathy's on. Hang on. I sent you an invite on Chasing Truths. I'm sure I sent you a private message and gave you the invite. But I'll send it to you. But you're going to be better off getting the Discord, because when my next project kicks off, I'm just designing it right now, but when all this fun stuff starts happening and in our live streams, it's all going to be connected to the Discord, so that you guys don't have to come over here and put up with dickheads in the chat, in the public chat. You can actually go over to the Discord and it won't zoom past at 100 miles an hour and, stuff like that. It'll all be nice and calm. Yeah, you do have the Discord, right, Pansy? I've seen you on Chasing Truth's channel, so I'm sure I've seen you there and sent you a private message. No, I won't leave you out. But we need to have a talk about the email that you sent me, so come over to the Discord and we'll have a conversation there. Because I can actually voice chat you over there. We can actually have a conversation, like a voice conversation, without it costing anything. So come over there and we'll have a voice chat. Okie. So, yep, go and check out Popcorn Planet. Let me just tell you what he's saying. Oh, it might not have been you. Well, you're going to have to download the Discord so you don't get left out. Discord's just another app. It's like a forum. It's like a chat forum where we can all chat publicly together, or you can actually private message us, or you can have a voice talk conversation. And it's, without all the YouTubes in between and the whole public gallery in between. It's a very simple app. Just install it on your phone and off you go. And the phone will notify you every time your name is mentioned. Well, there we go. The Gabby potatoes. That's what YouTube thought I said when I told it to search for Gabby potato. It thought I said potatoes. Yes, do download it. Excuse me, discord.com. Or you'll find it in the Google Play app, or in the iPhone, what is it called? iTunes app, whatever. I forget what the shop for iPhone's called because I don't use an iPhone. Yeah, no worries, Pansy. We're about to hang up anyway. We're going to all go watch Popcorn Planet because there's some new stuff coming out. Go on to Brandy's. I'm having lasagna. It's been sitting there since like 9 o'clock. It's now 1:20 a.m. So I'm going to have a lasagna for my dinner. And Popcorn Planet. Oh, it's a 10-minute video. Dispatch audio proves that the officers knew. So there you go. Going to Aussies, going to my place for lasagna and bechamel sauce. Yum yum. I'm such a big fan of bechamel. I absolutely love any dish with bechamel. I love lasagna with bechamel. I love smothered potatoes with ham steak. I don't know. That sounds pretty good, Brandy. I want to. Whenever something like I go to a restaurant or a cafe, hey, like everything on the menu, because you don't usually go until you're hungry, and then when you're hungry, you can't pick. It's like, oh, I'll just have a bit of everything, please. Smorgasbord. That's why I like tapas restaurants, because you can have a bit of everything off the menu. And it doesn't cost you like arm and a leg. Anyway, I'm going to go and see what Andy's got to say and watch this Dr. Phil thing and see if we can't stick some more timeline together. And I'll see you all over on the Discord. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. I had actually thought to put Andy's video up here, but I don't know, it might I might get a copyright strike for it. But anyway, I'll see you all on the round trip, guys. Yep, you have a good night too, Kathy. See you later, Cassie. Bye-bye, Brandy. See you, Matt, if you're still with us. Doesn't look like anybody else is with us at the moment. I don't know who else I haven't mentioned. Goodbye, whoever else is listening. All right, I see you on the Discord. Ciao.